All right, in this tutorial, we'll cover the design of our door for a wood crafting project. So on the screen, you see a 3D model of our door. It's made of many components. If I move my mouse carefully over to the left side, that's going to be our left style. And of course, this is our right style right here. And then we have a top rail and a bottom rail. And then we have an additional mid element here. It's a mid style, so we're going to add that one. And then of course 2 panels that would go in there. Okay, all right, so that's our design. So with that being said, I'm just going to move over to our drawing here and take a look at just a rough sketch just to get things laid out on our graph paper. So the main values that we're concerned with here is the 13 and the 12. Okay, so we're going to lay that out on our page. I went ahead and done that. Hopefully you can see these dots. Visually, I just found the center of my graph paper, and then I started to count out. I went 7 boxes up, and then I went 6 boxes down. So if I'm using graph paper, that would be a total of 13 boxes. So again, here is our scale. Our scale is going to be 1/4 inch equals 1 inch, and then 1 box equals 1 inch by 1 inch. So that's on graph paper. So again, that's going to be on graph paper. However, if you are not using graph paper, there's going to be our scaling for those 2 values. So 13 divided by 4 is 3 1/4, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3 inches. So that's our scaling if you do not have graph paper. So I'm going to just pause the video here, and I'm just going to go ahead and make that rectangle. If you want to go ahead, and you probably are quite familiar with the process, I'm just going to come in here and draw this out here, or just kind of lay it out for you. So these elements here, the stiles and rails, are 2 inches. This mid element, this mid style, is 1.5 inches. Okay, and that's going to go right down the middle. So I'm going to pause and just get into this, and since we're quite familiar with it, I might jump ahead quite a ways. All right, so I moved ahead here and drew out my style A and B. Again, those are 2 inches in width. So just kind of going back to our scaling over here, here's our scaling. So 2 divided by 4 is 1/2 inch. So those lines again are 1/2 inch apart, or 2 boxes on the graph paper. So I'm going to stop it here, and we'll do the rails and possibly even go on to the mid style. Okay, I went ahead and finished the drawing here and my labeling. So key values here is going to be 13 and then 12. I added that label. Of course, then I added my rail D and rail E. And then, of course, we go internally. We got the panel P1 and panel P2, and then the mid style. So as far as the mid style goes, I found the center of the rails, and then I just visually made this mid style a little bit thinner. We will define the width in our parts list, but for right now, I just visually made this element a little bit narrower than the stiles and rails. Okay, technically that would be 1.5 inches. Okay, so then if I were to take 1.5 inches and convert that to a scale, that would be actually 3/8 of an inch. So my width of this ended up being 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and again, find the center, and then go left and go right, and then that will be the mid style. Okay, let me zoom back out so you can see. Again, this is on graph paper, and again, I have my scaling up top there. Okay, all right, so this concludes the drawing of the door, and eventually we're going to be moving on to the parts list and board feet calculations.